We are
Yay.
live. Yeah, we're
Okay.
live on Periscope.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm waiting for Periscope to load. I can't see it. The only thing I can see is that Bible News Radio is on the screen. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Because otherwise I can't see anything. All right. So now I'm logged in. I'm logged in now, and I don't see anybody.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4,
Oh,
3,
we will share this.
2, 1.
Hopefully people will come in. Okay.
So now, O Son of Man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
All right. Hey, everybody. I want to welcome all of you here to this episode of Bible News Radio. You know what? Today is a day that this is a relaxed show day because I'm with a friend today who I absolutely love and adore, and I can't wait to meet in person next month when we go to Creator Con in New Jersey. And so I will tell you about Dr. Lisa Sulsenti in just a minute. But first, I want to say thank you all for coming in to the show. I know a lot of you are in Periscope and some of you are on Blogtalkradio. If you're on Blog Talk, thank you guys for tuning in to the archives as well, because I know a lot of you listen to the archive, and I hope that this show blesses you. And if it does, please email me and let me know, okay? Or tweet me at Bible News Radio. Those of you on Periscope, hi, glad you're here. You guys are going to definitely enjoy this interview. And also, you have the ability, because most of you are live here, to ask us questions about health and nutrition, anything having to do with that. Dr. Lisa will be able to definitely answer. She is somebody who I absolutely love. And you know why? I'm going to tell you, I love her because... Okay, I'm hearing somebody's... Was that your... Oh, anyway... But I love her. Just so you know, I do. I love her a lot. And anyway, and the reason why is there's so many reasons, but one reason is because she's honest. She's direct. She's to the point. She's funny. And she's also really super smart. And she's a great entrepreneur. And she loves the Lord. And I also have to tell you that she's actually helped me with my health and nutrition, and basically has changed my life in so many good ways that I'm just saying. So and Lisa, when I meet you, I'm gonna give you a big hug and kiss you, just so you know. All right, okay. Are you okay? All right. So before we put Lisa on, though, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to share with you our evangelism quote of the day, which I picked just for this show. This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, earlier this week. In fact, John Murrow, who's actually a pharmacist, he actually brought this up in one of our other scopes. Anyway, this says, "Then God said, 'Behold.'" Of course, I should say it the way he said it. He probably went, "Behold." No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Anyway, then God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the surface of all the earth, and every tree which has fruit yielding seed, it shall be food for you." Genesis 1:29. And so the question you might have is, how in the heck is this an evangelism quote, Stacy Lynn? Well, it is because it's about, it's the word of God, first of all, which doesn't return void. And also it's a great talking point when you're talking to somebody about food and God, and because you can say, well, did you know that God gave every plant yielding seed to us for fruit? And by the way, or for food. And did you also know that most of the food, that so-called food that you're eating in your grocery store, isn't food? And did you know that a lot of the pharmaceuticals out there that they give you to cure illness is actually, they discover how to use some of this stuff because of actual food, which always goes back to the Bible, which is a really great way then to talk about God. So anyway, see how easy that was? Yeah, a piece of cake, huh? Yeah. Anyway, so let me tell you, you guys who are online, you need to go over to Dr. Lisa Sulsenti's website, all right? Because that's where you're going to learn more about her. And that's Dr. DrLisa SULSENTI.com. Just the way it sounds, just so you know. Dr. Lisa Sulsenti. There's no weird spelling of Lisa or Sulsenti or doctor, just so you know. All right. So so let me tell you who this woman is, okay? I'm going to read you. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. No, I'm not. I decided I'm not going to. Actually, I'm just going to tell you who she is. She is here. And as you know, reading bios is my strong suit here on Bible News Radio. Anyway, Lisa is a chiropractor, and she is a nutritionist. She's an autism coach. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's an entrepreneur. She's sweet and lovable, and she's my guest today. And she's done a whole bunch of other fun stuff, too. But most importantly, she's here today to be like Dr. Oz was to Oprah. She is to us here on Bible News Radio. So, Lisa, hi. How you doing?
I'm sitting here cracking up. Hi, everyone. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Randall. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, I'm glad you're on the show. And this is what, your third or fourth time? Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Enough where we can't remember now, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, see, you're on here long enough for Randall to actually give you your own little label underneath.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Randall.
I know, isn't that
You're
cool?
so welcome.
Yeah, see, it says nutritionist and chiropractor. So tell me something. Do you prefer being called a nutritionist or a chiropractor, or what's your favorite title?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Besides mom.
I don't know. Yeah, mom. Mom's better. Christian's better. It doesn't matter, really, because they both are so important. I have to say, though, I'll be honest, because you know that I am.
Yeah.
I really didn't like being a nutritionist for many, many, many years. I found it the most frustrating job ever until, I came across the leaky gut and understanding the whole entire system I'm about to tell people about. But today I'm very proud to be a nutritionist, but I wouldn't say that about, 15 years ago. It was embarrassing and very hard. And I think it was difficult because of all the different fads that were out there and the diets were out there, and the research really wasn't as well as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And explain. Okay. Yeah. And I want to talk, I have some loaded questions to ask you, because I know that there's some controversy, and I actually was just on 2 different periscopes right before the show. I was on Leslie Nance's scope. She's a Go-To Kitchens. It's G, the number 2 Kitchens. I actually met her at Summit, and she was actually up for Periscoper of the Year. So
okay.
Her whole thing is all nutrition. She's kind of like you are. And then I was on another woman's scope who I forgot her name already, which is so horrible. I was the only one in there, though. I think her name was Jen. And she is actually a certified trainer. And so she was talking about how to cut sugar out of your diet. And so anyway, so there's that. And then, so I want to talk to you a little bit about that. I want to talk about your Kind Gut program, because it ties into this. But I also want to get your thoughts on the ketogenic diet, which I know is totally controversial, because that's high fat, low carbs, no sugar. And some people on that advocate eating Spam and Vienna sausage and stuff like that. which I've been
not happening here.
I've been actually polling my Facebook friends about.
I know,
as you know.
I saw it, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. So speaking of that, what do you think of Spam and Vienna sausage? Because here's the thing: on the ketogenic diet, it's high fat, and it's supposed to be super good for you. And then, but
All right, before I start, let me ask you a question about the ketogenic. Do they do the thorough blood testing? Do they do functional nutrition testing? Do they determine your full, I'm talking like over 30 vitamins and minerals? Do they figure out what you're deficient in? Because my thing is, I have over like 20 years experience of trying this diet, trying that diet, trying this way, trying that way, but watching the blood work and watching the cellular, response to things. Mm-hmm. And there's no way in the world you're going to convince me ever that if you ate Spam or ham, that your cardiac panel is going to be good.
Right.
So it's just, you won't convince me of it, because that's what I've been doing for 20 years is, you can bring your blood I don't care if it's medical doctor or now I do the blood work because my blood work's way more thorough. But in the past, when the science wasn't as good, you could bring me your medical lab work and it could be horrific and we can change that. But it isn't by saying, hey, eat high fats. It is about eating healthy fats. Yeah. But to eat the bad fats, I don't see how they're ever going to clear up that cardiac panel. Yeah. And somebody wants to show me 20 years of experience of doing it differently. I'm open to that, but that's my stance.
I should have you and Adam Nally on at the same time. That would be a fun debate. I actually don't know if he does or not because I'm not a patient of his, but I know that he's one of the leading advocates of the ketogenic diet. Nobody, if you guys don't know Dr. Adam Nally, he's also here on Periscope. You can watch him too.
It's like the Atkins diet. The guy died of a heart attack, right? So.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm actually not sure. I'm really not sure how they go about, advocating it, but the idea, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the idea of the ketogenic diet is that your body, instead of using sugar to help burn fat, it's actually fat that burns fat instead. Is that right?
Yeah, and I get it. Yeah. Okay. There's definitely truth in there and science in there with the way the liver works and the body works. But what I see in diets, even like I love paleo diet, but what I see is it gives people the okay to go eat a ton of bacon, their hamburgers, their steaks, and then they move away from, maybe something like a healthy grass-fed beef, and they'll move away from that. And I see it all over Facebook, so don't say it's not happening. But then they'll go to, fast foods, and my thing's different.
Right.
We're just not into processed meats and stuff like that, canned meats. And it goes back to the quote that you just said. Like, I'm all about, we're eating what God put on the planet for us to eat is what we really focus on. So that's my plan. And I get into why in a minute, but that's my thing.
All right. So let me go ahead and just check Periscope. Thank you guys. I want to say hi to Vicky, Melanie, Mia, and David. Thank you guys for coming in. I know that there's other people in there too. Junkie and Leon, you're in there. I don't know who you are, Junkie, but nice name. Hope that builds you up some. Anyway, feel free to share this out if you think it's going to help somebody else. It might. And there is Kim. I haven't seen you in a long time, Kimberly. Nice to see you. Okay, so so the controversy is, at first the testimony is, truth and disclosure, Lisa and I worked together for a while, and Lisa actually put me on her diet. Did you actually call it the kind, did you just name it the kind gut thing? It's like the leaky gut diet, but
you didn't do the whole program. Like the kind gut is a full program.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
You kind of did more of the menus. Yeah.
I did more of the menus.
Yeah.
Just feed me what I'm going to say, Lisa.
Sorry.
But here's the truth. Here's what happened, on me. I probably lost about 10 pounds of fat, right? Went down 2 pant sizes, right? Which I'm at, and lost around the inches for sure. Definitely. I mean, even Bareface could tell. He's with me all the time. So when your spouse can see that you've changed some, then that says something. And primarily because I started to cut out sugar, which is a big, huge one. I mean, that's the hardest thing in the universe to do is cut out sugar. And Lisa, I don't know if you know, but I actually am no longer putting stevia in my coffee. I'm just taking it with cream.
Yay!
Yeah, because I just can't stand the taste of stevia in my coffee.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
But anyway, so, and here's the other thing, and I don't know if you set up a special promo for our guests today, but I will tell you also that Lisa helped me to figure out some foods I've been allergic to, and I didn't know. And I also think I discovered I might be allergic to potatoes or something that either potatoes are cooked in or something, because I've noticed my throat tends to start to close up when I eat them.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You did. Yeah, and that's what the program, it allows for, even though the story that I'm going to tell you about is the same for everybody, how the body reacts is different for everybody. So there might be certain foods that trigger your leaky gut or your body doesn't do well with, and there's foods that, my body doesn't do well with. So like potatoes is not a problem for me, but you can't say that for, the next person that walks through the door. So it's not cookbook, which is actually fun for me because it would be really boring if it was cookbook.
Yeah.
I don't like to be bored. I like to be challenged, and my patients are people that are really sick. I have chronic illnesses, very severe illnesses in front of me. The patient that sits in front of me are the ones that have been everywhere else and have tried everything and are just, they have nowhere else to go. They have nowhere else to turn. They've tried all the other diets, all the other doctors, all the other medicines, surgeries. And hopefully people will come to me before that. We're trying to get people to come before you get that sick, but it's kind of good to see people this sick because, one, we're getting them better. So that's obviously a blessing. But two, I get to see some really I learn, I really get to see some severe cases that I get to learn from.
That's cool. All right. And also, just in case somebody doesn't know actually who you are and why you became a chiropractor, because you're not just a nutritionist, but you're also a chiropractor. Tell them just a short, story about how that came about too, because I know that I actually have, no, I don't, never mind. I was going to say I have a friend in here whose wife is a chiropractor, but it's a different friend. But anyway.
Well, I came into chiropractic very simply. I had allergies my whole life, like severe, where seasonal would pop up, and then I would have these sinus infections, laryngitis, and always end up with a bronchial infection. Mm-hmm. And my mom would run me to the MD, which was fine, but I started, I'm not a quiet child, so I would get medicine or shots, and I just asked one day where I was like, why isn't this working? Like, you're giving me a treatment, why doesn't it work? And he just looked at me like, well, you feel better after you get your medicine. I'm like, yeah, I fall asleep for a few hours and, I feel better, but it always comes back, or I always get it. Like, you're not fixing it. And he and I just started going at it in the way of me always questioning, my mom begging when she's driving there, like, please do not challenge the doctor. And I hurt myself in college. I don't know what I did, but I had what's called torticollis. At the time, I didn't know. I thought I was I stroked myself out or something. My shoulder was attached to my ear, where you couldn't move your neck.
Oh.
And it's called torticollis. And friend took me to a chiropractor there that was kind of on campus, and he adjusted me, and I was like, all right. So he fixed my neck, and I was going for a little while. And then I noticed I went through a spring with no allergies, and I was like, that can't be. That can't be that I got my neck fixed, that my sinuses would go away. But of course, I had to ask 100 questions to the chiropractor. I was like, okay, now what did you do? And why are my allergies gone? And is there a connection, or am I just crazy? And of course, he explained to me how the nervous system is really what controls the organs, and how, if you have a functional problem with your spine, you are going to change the nervous and the energy, the nerve impulses that control the organs. So I was like, well, why didn't my MD just explain that to me? And he's like, well, they don't really believe with a quote, quote it, because to me, it's not a religion. There's nothing really to believe in here.
Right.
And I was like, I have to do this. And I was pre-med. And I was like, I have to do this. I'm not going down a path where medicine isn't going to work for the, allergies, and I could change one person's life. I've served God the best I can here. I mean, I'm not here to change the world. I'm here to help make one person. If I figured if I could help one person not go through what I went through, I'm going to do it. Yeah. Which did not go over well with my parents when I came home and said, guess what? I'm not going to med school. I'm going to go to chiropractic school. So that's my story.
Okay, but so that's changed. So do your parents feel differently now?
Oh, yeah. Yes. And I went back to college and said, what do I major in? And someone said nutrition. And I thought, okay, well, it's got to be easier than pre-med, which it was a bit, I have to say, but it was all chemistry, which really is my least favorite subject in the entire world, besides maybe economics. And, so it wasn't as easy as you guys think. Vitamins is not, it's chemistry. So, I did that. And, that was a saving grace. That was a saving grace because it combined very well together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems almost like it should be like one track, I mean, although I know chiropractic school is completely different. You have to do that. And I love your stories of having to deal with corpses and stuff and all that fun stuff.
I know. I had a corpse for 9 months.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, before our time gets away from us, I should take a moment to thank our sponsor, And then those of you who are here live in the chat room, I don't know if if you're actually typing or not, because sometimes Periscope freaks out. But if you have any questions, feel free to type them in for Lisa during the next couple of minutes, before, just because you can. Okay. All right. I'm actually waiting for Ariel to show up. There it is. I don't know why I couldn't see it. That's weird. Anyway. Okay. So anyway, Ariel Ministries helps support the show. You can go to ariel.org and save 20% when you use the coupon code Bible News, and I hope you do, because again, they're a Messianic Jewish ministry which seeks to evangelize the Jewish people so that they know Christ is their Messiah, and disciple Gentile believers alike, which Gentiles are everybody but Jews, just so you know, in case you didn't know that. We also want to tell you about Camp Shoshana, which is they have a program of Messianic Jewish Studies, which is held every year in the Adirondack Mountains up there in upstate New York. And this is really good, you guys. I'm just telling you, if you have the time between July and August go up there, and you want some good, intense Bible teaching, then go and learn more at ariel.org about that. And also, yesterday, I totally forgot to tell you how you can give to us, too, here at Bible News Radio. Want to thank our sponsors, but also, if you want to donate to our show, which we would love if you did that, then this month, we are actually giving away the book Grace Behind Bars for a donation of $10 or more. And this is actually the story of a man who was wrongfully convicted of a crime, put in jail, basically found God in jail. But at the same time he was thrown in jail, I believe his wife came down with some type of brain disorder or cancer or something. Anyway, long story short, it's a powerful testimony. I happen to know for a fact, I believe it was yesterday, Janet Parcel actually interviewed the author of this book. So if you want it, if you want to donate $10 or more to us, we'll put you on the list to get that. And that's for USAID donors. If you don't want to donate, or if you do want to donate and you just don't want the book because you don't want to read it, then just say, hey, keep the book and keep all the money. And I'll go, thanks. I really appreciate it. You rock. And by the way, I do want to thank those of you who do donate on a regular basis. It does help us with our expenses here, which are actually quite a few, just so you know. Okay. And is there anything else, Bareface, that I have as far as any other announcements before I forget? Anything?
I don't know if this is a good time to mention Spark
Yeah,
Naturals.
actually, Spark Naturals is great. It's essential oil. In fact, Lisa uses these now, as far as I know. You still use those, right? Spark Naturals? Yeah. So Spark Naturals essential oil. This is we use the coupon code John316 because it saves you money. It saves you 10% off your order. And that does include sale items. If you go to sparknaturals.com, you can actually go there almost every week. They have sales every week on various things. You can just use John316. And when you do, it benefits Bible News Radio. And Lisa, you have a code too. They want to benefit you. What code do they use for you?
Dr. Lisa.
Dr.
DR.
Lisa.
LISA.
Yeah, so if you want to become an affiliate, if you want to save money and you don't want to help Bible News Radio, but you want to help Lisa, because I still get a little cut because I signed Lisa up. That's the truth.
Oh, yeah. So if you go to me, she still gets something.
I still get something, so we planned it that way. So anyway, okay. All right. I think that's it. Okay, so
should I explain the kind gut to them or no?
I think you should. I don't see any questions that came in. Everybody seems super quiet today.
The crickets.
I know. It's like we're totally connected, though, as far as I know. Okay. So, yes, Please, what is the kind gut? And I saw you trademarked it, too.
I did.
Good for you.
I did.
That's good, good business.
And with me, with me, it's 5-visit program that you sit with me, but you go through a lot. And it basically stems down to 2 things. One is determining what type of leaky gut you have. And then I put together a menu based upon the findings of that gut problem. And 2, it's figuring out what type of vitamin, mineral deficiencies you have, if you have a thyroid imbalance, if you have a hormone imbalance, cardiac panel. It really is very specific to what your health problems are. When you sit and you talk with me, we decide what to test. So you're determining those 2 things. And the goal is to heal the leaky gut and then also balance out any deficiencies that you would have to bring health in the body. But you might say, what's a leaky gut? Because that's the big kind of trigger word now. And that's what brings you back to God. What I tell people is the story's the same, but it's different for everyone. So if your gut is when you eat an apple that's grown, by nature, God made the apple beautifully. And the amazing thing is that your body recognizes the protein pattern in the apple. So it's just so bright and intelligent that the body understands how to pull all the nutrients out, the vitamins it needs. And then it actually knows what to do with the things it doesn't need, like some of the fiber, and it knows what to get rid of. And it does it beautifully. Mm-hmm. And there's really no problems. And it's a win. It's really a win-win. You don't really even gain weight from the apple. That's how great, that Bible verse is with the nuts and the seeds and all that. So, however, we have really taken food to a different level, and you might want to take this back to maybe when I was a kid in 70s or 80s, where it really started changing, where the first, forget what it's called, microwave came in, and microwave foods and stuff like that, packaged foods and box foods. And they have industrialized food so much today that we don't even recognize it. I don't even think that you could call it food, because food is the biblical sense of what you're saying. God makes it. It's made for a reason. It's specifically there for the health of our body. And we as men and women but I'm going to say man-made, so don't get offended. I'm not leaving out the women.
Even though isn't today International Women's Day?
Yes.
Don't we all rock? Aren't women, doesn't women rule? Don't women rule? We rule the world. No, anyway, just kidding. We really don't, but moms rule the world, actually. All right. Anyway.
Well, so we've made a lot of foods in labs, right?
Right.
We call it man-made food. And if you look over the boxes of the foods today, I'm going to give you guys a freebie that you can actually do today, but I want to give you some homework, is start looking at the boxes of the foods you're eating. And don't worry about the nutrition label. Go to the ingredient label. And I want you to be able to at least name 2 or 3 of the things. Like, tell me, what's on there that you know.
Right.
Because those really, really big words are either 3 things. 1, man-made in a lab. So they're synthetic chemicals. 2, sourced from a synthetic chemical. So like the word sugar isn't necessarily cane sugar that's beautiful on the field that God made you. It's a sourced high fructose corn syrup man-made sugar from a lab, or it's sourced from a genetically engineered food made in a lab. So you really, really got to know your label. If you see the word vitamins, they are synthetically made in a lab. You're fortifying the food. Again, the apple's beautifully made by God with the vitamins in whole form. So we have Frankenstein food so much to the point where we make, we genetically are modifying seeds. They're called GMOs. We're altering the DNA. When you alter the DNA, you alter the protein pattern of a food. So what happens? You eat the food, your gut doesn't recognize it. It has no idea what it is. And it thinks it's foreign. So the first thing it's going to do to any foreign invader if a bacteria comes into your body, if a virus comes into your body, if a protein comes in that it doesn't recognize, it attacks it. And to make a long story short, your intestines are 20 feet long, and you will have an immune attack that's 20 feet long in your gut. That's a big, big organ within your body. And when it does this, it releases really bad chemicals. We call them Pac-Men. That's my term. And it goes around and it creates holes in the gut. It goes around and creates problems in organs like thyroid and muscles and joints and all these other things. So that's a leaky gut, and that can only be fixed by healing it, but also by trying to figure out what foods are triggering it and really looking deep into what you're eating and trying to teach you to eat healthy. So that's my program.
Yes, and it's a very good program. By the way, I have to tell you, I was in okay, now I'm finally seeing some questions. Yes, you can ask questions. It's just that I wasn't seeing any. I was put on a low FODMAP diet, but haven't been able to reintroduce most of the foods, i.e. grains. And I forgot. I couldn't see who asked that. But yeah, you can ask questions. Do you know what an FOD diet is?
It might be similar to something that I know in a different word. Do they have the words? But they mentioned taking out grains. If you can't introduce it back in, there's 2 things that I'm thinking, but I don't know enough about you, and I would have to ask a complete. I look at you holistically.
FODMAP.
Okay.
I don't know.
I have an idea about it, but
it's for
if you have a leaky gut and you do not heal your leaky gut, you won't be able to introduce back foods in. Once you start healing your gut, you will be able to introduce certain foods back in that will be fine, but then there'll be certain foods that you can never have. And I can't tell you that unless you go through the program. Like, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Like,
Right.
I cannot have dairy. If I have dairy, I will immediately be sick. But, you know, you might be able to have it. Do you know what I'm saying? I had a patient that had colitis. We removed dairy. We removed a lot of things. But when we put dairy back in, it came right back. And that's not all my patients. That's not the story for all my patients. So if you're having a problem putting something back in, it could be because you have a leaky gut. It's not healed. Same with vitamins. You would have a vitamin deficiency, Stacy. But if you don't heal a leaky gut, you'll never fix the deficiency, because a leaky gut decreases your ability to absorb food, you know, vitamins from foods.
Yeah.
So leaky gut is really, really, really important. And it's really complicated to figure out by yourself. But I simplified it. That's why I got so proud of as being a nutritionist. And that's why, if you want to call me that, I'm so happy today, because I really nailed it. Like this is like years, this is a lifetime of work. I nailed simplifying this. And the biggest problem people make is trying to figure it out by themselves.
Yeah, well, I think I actually have enough money now to where I actually can have you do the vitamin testing on me, which would be totally cool. Because Lisa also recommends certain vitamins and stuff, and matcha green tea and stuff like that, which I actually take. I'm actually out. Can you believe that? I'm actually out. I've told Randall, I said, I'm out of my matcha green tea. It irritates me because I'm like, it's like one day, and it's on its way, but I put it off because we went to Summit, and anyway. But
it's coming.
Yeah, but the whole food vitamins that I take actually really have made a difference. So, you know, I recommend what she suggests. Okay, is there any other questions? Because I know Periscope is going in and out today. I can see it. I know there's been 320 people who've come through at least right now, but. If you guys have any other questions.
Put this link up for them so they can see it. I guess you can't link on Periscope, but
I can actually type. You could type it in if you want. I don't know where'd you send it. I don't.
I was gonna say it. I don't know where you get. I'll just say it.
Is it myfoodschool.com or?
No.
Okay.
I have a challenge that's a free challenge.
Oh.
It's an email.
Gotcha.
It's like a little mini course. And what it is I send you a nutrition lesson every day for 7 days. So within 1 week, you will learn the beginning steps of how to eat healthy. But I don't chintz on this. This is a really thorough nutrition lesson that, you know, would cost you a ton of money to sit with me. So it's a really awesome how to eat healthy program or little challenge. It's called, so you would go to my website, www.drlisasulsenti.com, and you do a / and you put 7-day how to eat healthy quick start. Or just go to the website and you'll see a pretty picture there that says it, and you can click the picture and I'll take you to the little sales page, but it's free. It's, you know, you sign up and you'll get day 1 sent to you right like today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I'll send you another lesson and so forth. So within 7 days, you'll even lose some weight, you know, but you'll really get into the beginning steps of how to get healthy.
Yes. And Lisa knows what she's talking about, just so you know. Also, I have to tell you that her emails are definitely packed with info. They are.
Yeah.
So you guys know that. I wouldn't have her on like more than once if she sucked.
Yeah,
right?
I share too much.
But she doesn't suck. Yeah. Anyway, so what else okay, so there's that. Okay, so I want to ask you,
7-day how to eat healthy.
Can you talk about like what healthy fats are? Oh wait, but before you do that, okay, because I thought Kim had a question, but I didn't see it come in if you wrote it. Kimberly? Wait, hold on.
Why are you laughing?
What are we waiting for?
Well,
For your thought to return?
Yes, for my thought to return.
Having a brain fart.
I know. It's like, what the heck, man? Okay, wait. It had to do with, so fats. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, put it in again, Kim, because I didn't see it the first time because I'm trying to look at the camera and not always look down. But anyway, okay, so, gosh, oh my God.
I can't help it.
I know.
She's so serious, but she can't remember.
Something about healthy fats? Or no,
oh, it was the healthy fat. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, it was about collagen. So a couple of days ago, I went and I bought some more collagen because I ran out, you know, and and I have to tell you that the lady at the nutrition store, because it's called Alternative Health where I live, really, it's like the only health food store in Spring Hill, literally, except there is one GNC. But, you know,
Yeah,
when I mentioned GNC,
not the same.
No, when I mentioned that, she was like, you went to GNC? Because I ran out of my Himalayan pink sea salt, and she didn't have the same brand there. I was like, I think I got it at GNC, but she's like, you went to GNC. But anyway, I told her I bought the collagen from her, and was telling her about what you said. Do you mind sharing that part about the value of collagen? Because I don't know about you guys, but how many of you have ever had layered fingernails, you know, and you wonder what the heck's going on in your body or whatever? That's not even why Lisa told me to start taking it, but go ahead.
Right. So collagen is one of the, you know, it's one of the things we use to heal the gut lining. So when I told you that the 20-foot intestine is inflamed and you have a storm going on, what it does is it releases these Pac-Man, and the Pac-Man actually poke holes in the cell lining of the gut. Literally, they put holes in it. So collagen is a great way to heal those holes, right? And it basically, the two ways you can do it is where you can actually combine the two, because a lot of my patients like to do both. You can get it in a supplement powder form like you are, but you want to use it. It's coming from bones. It's basically collagen is the connective tissue that's in our bodies. Women, we know what it is because they inject into our skin. You know, well, I don't get it done, but you know, that's what makes your skin elastic. And as you get older, it makes you look younger or whatever. But it also is going to be healing the tissues within the lining of the gut. That's what it does in my program. So you can do it in a powder form, but you want to get a really high quality one. You want to get one from grass-fed beef because it's coming from bones from an animal, and they're pulling it out as a as a supplement. The best way to do it naturally from God, from the earth, would be to take chicken feet and chicken neck, chicken bones, and put them in a crock pot. Fill that crock pot up with some water. You can sprinkle a little salt and pepper in there. We always use pink Himalayan. We never use any other salt. And cook that. You can cook these bones from 12 to 24 hours. And then when it's done, you're going to take the bones out and you have a broth. It's called bone broth. Right. And what it did was it pulled the collagen. Again, this is like a connective tissue that's going to be protective to your holes in the wall of the lining of the gut. And it pulls it out of the bones and it goes into the broth. And when you boil it, it actually turns into a gelatin. So it's like Knox gelatin type of thing. It's gelatin. And you'll know when you store your bone broth in the fridge, it kind of gets a gel layer to it, but that's collagen right there. And it's super, super healthy. And it's everybody that's on it is like, oh my gosh, my gut feels better immediately with that. But there's more steps than that. But there's the two ways to. Yeah. You can use the bone broth. You can drink it straight up, 6 to 8 ounces a day, but you also can use it in soup, chicken soups, stews, stir fries, whatever you need it for.
Do you recommend that people buy that? And I did get Kimberly's question. I actually have seen bone broth now on the shelves in stores.
No. Yeah, no.
Don't
because
do
again, go back to God. You want food in its active form. You really don't want it in that bone broth in the stores. It's got so many preservatives in it so it doesn't go bad. Like it's been on that shelf for a really long time, and before the shelf it was in a distributor warehouse, and before that it was on a truck, and before that it might have been if it didn't go through 2 distributor warehouses, it might be where the company made it. So no, not for healing the gut. No.
Gotcha. Okay. And Vicky also just said that she does bone broth.
Yay, Vicky.
Yeah, Vicky Hankey. Okay, all right. Okay, so Kimberly's question was, and I'm gonna paraphrase it because I wrote it down. Was basically, if you suffer from flatulence every day, how does that impact or affect your intestines or your gut?
Well, it's one of the signs of a leaky gut. It's one of the questions I ask. So when you go through a history with me, I'm going to ask you about 40 questions, 50 questions. And one of them is, do you have gas and bloating? Which would be, if you have gas, you have flatulence. So do you have it before a meal? Do you have it after a meal? We go through a big question. So it's one of the red flags that your gut isn't working well. You can right now if you want, but I don't like to recommend things over airways and stuff without meeting a patient. But a probiotic, if you're not doing it, might help that. The other thing about your gut is if you have a lot of bad bacteria in there outweighing the good bacteria, you have what's called a flora, which is a bunch of bugs in your gut. And if the flora is not healthy, you would have something like flatulence. You would have all these signs of leaky guts. But then again, flatulence could also be that when you're eating something that your body doesn't work well with, it's reacting to it. So I know when I eat dairy, I immediately have gas. And then, of course, the way gas gets out is flatulence, So, yeah, you definitely have something going on with your digestive tract for sure.
Yeah. So does that help, Kim? I hope that helps. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Bareface, do you have any questions? I know it's not your real name, but hey, I thought I'd throw you in, since you were in the title of the show.
No, not really.
Okay. Kim said, thank you. It helps. All right. Okay. Well, hey, you guys, this is a great time to ask your nutrition and questions if you have any for Dr. Lisa Sulsenti. By the way, she also has another website. I would encourage you to go to myfoodschool.com, which I am part of that also. I need to actually go back in there and redo some stuff. But tell everybody what My Food School is all about.
It's actually in the process where we're rebuilding it. We're actually, with nutrition, we have to go in there and update the information, and we're going to add some more stuff. So it's going to get very more robust. But right now it's a digital world. It's the place where I have a lot of nutrition lessons, a lot of nutrition information. So you can go in there and go module 1, 2, 3, 4 and learn a lot of nutrition. So it talks about anything from, what to drink, and then, what carbs and proteins and fats are healthy. Like you asked me before, what are the healthy fats? What are the bad fats? It goes through like all those nutritional questions. There's also a guide right now in there for how to lose weight naturally, and then how to deal with your picky eater. So it's got a lot of stuff in there, but we are excited to work on and bring it up to date a little bit
Cool.
The nutrition information keeps changing.
I know. Isn't that cool though? That, you'll never be bored.
No, I can't keep up, but it's fun.
That's the upside.
I think it would be boring if it was just the same information.
Okay, so I have a question. What do you think of macadamia nuts?
I don't know. They're not one of the nuts that are in the leaky gut. They're not known to be healing to the body. I haven't, but again, if you can handle nuts, then nuts are loaded with healthy fats and tons of vitamins and minerals. Here's the thing about nuts and seeds. This got me when I started this whole program a year ago.
Okay.
There, in every deficiency, there's 30. I test over 30 vitamins, and I have to create a management report that says to you, hey, Stacy, you're deficient in this, this, and this. Every single one of them says eat nuts and seeds. They're all like eat nuts and seeds. It doesn't matter which deficiency you have. Now, some nuts have different minerals or vitamins than others, but I laughed to my husband. I go, wow, no wonder why animals live off nuts and seeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I get it. And humans just avoid them, unless they're coated with sugar or salt. So it's funny that I don't know enough about macadamians in the sense of if there's anything negative. I just know it's not one of the beneficial ones for leaky gut.
Yeah, but it is for the ketogenic diet, just so you know.
That's not for the leaky gut diet.
Yeah. Okay. So the Vicky wants to know how you test long distance, and that is a good question because, I'm in Tennessee, you're in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, it's a great question actually. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, and actually Vicky is in Virginia, and occasionally lives in Oklahoma sometimes because she's helping her mom out.
Thanks for asking that question. So I use a lab that most are, they're throughout the country. And so when you meet with me before, like I offer a 1-hour consultation, and right now it's on sale for $75 instead of $150. So that's a pretty good sale. And that you can find on my website too. But here's my point. When we're right before we have the consultation, I will ask you what your zip code is. And I will locate the lab that's near you that does the blood work that I do. And I will have it all set up for you. If you decide to do the program, I would have all the information for you, and we would have that set up for you. So there's one near you. It's just the lab that I use, they resource out to other labs, and we find which one's closest to you. So it's pretty easy. Yeah. And then they send the results to me, and I read the results and I write up the report.
Yeah. What's the extra cost for the lab work?
Well, it's hard to say exactly because I don't know which panels you'd want. But if you were just to do the 30 vitamin and mineral testing and you had insurance, it's $190 to do that. But then there's also the thyroid, there's female hormones, there's cardiac panels. So they have other fees too. So it could run from the $190 to probably about $310 or something like that. It's a $2,000 panel. So it's a great cost. And then I have my fees depending upon what you choose on the lab, or if you choose to do the whole kind gut, how much I would charge to read the lab and sit with you.
But what if you don't have insurance, like certain people like me?
They have cash prices. I'd have to look them up because I don't usually get that. But yeah, I get them once. I mean, I get that, but I don't have it memorized.
So hopefully a cash price would be cheaper though, right?
I think the panel's $290.
I would hope so.
I think it's $290.
Okay.
You would think it would be cheaper because they're not going off to the insurance to get the, you know, they do bill your insurance and try to get more than the $190, you know, so you would think it would be, but I think it's $290.
Okay. Vicky says you can always negotiate it. Yeah, I guess you can. All right. Yeah, and you know what? This is the doctor, by the way, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but you might recall like a month or two ago, I told you that Dr. Lisa Sulsenti was offering a $20 consult, $19.99 1-hour consult for free. This is who I was talking about. I told you then you should have signed up for that super deal, because now it's back up. It's half price now. It's $75. But still, it's still worth it because, you know, you don't have to travel. She does everything via Skype or whatever venue, you know, Facebook video, whatever, if you're on Facebook. Definitely worth looking into. So.
And they also can do the 7-day How to Eat Healthy Quick Start and get to know me too if they want to, you know, start off doing that too, you know.
Yeah.
But
I want
the consultation is very thorough, and it's all about you and your health issue. And I cover it in depth, and then I explain the program a little bit more in depth than I am here. And we work together to see if it's a fit for you.
Yes. Also, though, you're also an autism coach. And Vicky's saying if I could get my sister to do it for Mom, I would love that. Yeah, that would be great. Because, Vicky's mom has dementia, I think, or Alzheimer's or something. I forgot. I know it's one of those. But talk about your autism issues, too, because you're an autism coach. You actually have a Facebook group for that. And you never know, there could be somebody listening that, you know, has a child, or they themselves are autistic or something. Yeah.
So I have 3 boys, and my middle one has autism spectrum disorders. So that was a whole nother journey that I took, and I didn't expect it to be the journey that I thought when he was diagnosed, that the school system would know what to do with them. And I figured that, you know, the OT got this and the PT's got this, and it was the furthest thing from the truth. And if you believe that things go into your life for a reason, that God puts things in your life for a reason, this was definitely put in my life for a reason, because it brought me to leaky gut. It brought me to many different avenues. Just looking at children differently, you know. Mm-hmm. So what happened, just in a nutshell, was I was on my own figuring things out, and it was a lot of, my son is now turning 17. So this is when he was 4. And I was in a time where people they called it Asperger's. They didn't really know much about it. And so when I had to figure it all out by myself, it was a lot of trial and error. So I made a lot of mistakes, both in nutrition and also in the home, and then going out to my family and parties and being in public, to school, you name it. We had behavioral problems no matter what we did. And I guess I basically took how I helped Luke and I brought it into my practice. I was telling other parents. I wrote a book because I didn't have the time to talk to so many people on the phone. So I just started handing out the book, you know, here, read this. This is the doctor you need to see, and these are the tests you need to take. And once you get the diagnosis, this is what you need to do in the classroom. So I have a book called The Overtilted Child at Creating Sensational Classrooms with Kids with Sensory Processing, Autism, ADD, ADHD, stuff like that. However, it led me to the leaky gut because I was hearing, hey, you know, dyes affect the gut, or dyes affect the brain. And then I was hearing, hey, gluten affects the brain. And I was had to get continuing education credit. So I was like, I definitely want to go to these nutrition seminars and learn exactly what is the science behind gluten get into the gut, and how would it make somebody hyper? How would it make, and it, you know, this goes to Alzheimer's too. Like, how does it affect the brain? How does it affect depression? I have a lot of depression patients now.
Yeah.
And that's where I started learning about leaky gut, and that's how huge it is. It's just, And then I learned, oh my gosh, it's chronic fatigue, it's fibromyalgia, it's thyroid. And I was like, this is just huge.
Yeah.
So I was a little nerd in all these little seminars with the pencil, like writing down, just going, oh my gosh, this is like phenomenal. Nutrition now just took a totally cool turn versus, I'm just not into diets. I'm just not, like, mine's not a diet. Mine's like a lifestyle change,
Yep.
Definitely better.
All right. So David has a question. He wants to know about what you think about whole wheat and whether or not it's been modified too much to be healthy today.
Yeah. The only way you can really do whole wheat is, one, if you know that you can handle it. And two, it has to be any grain, David, any grain. You want it to be as close as God made it, not have man touching it. So yes, the wheat out there, if you went down that bread aisle in the food store, all of that in the plastic is highly processed, completely killed, ruined. What they do with wheat is they take it out of the field, they bleach it with bleach. They bleach it and they take out what God put in it. God put fiber in there. They put the germ in there. All the nutrients are in there. They literally ruin it. And then they make the product they want to make from it. And then they're so bright. You know what they do? They fortify it, which means is they put back in what God took out. They take out God's stuff and then they go, we're going to put it back in as if they're God.
Right.
Right. So now you're eating fortified fiber and fortified vitamins. So, yeah. So the trick to it, obviously, it's always about making your own food. If you could make your own bread and control your ingredients, but then you have to watch your flour and stuff like that. And let's face it, that's really tedious and hard to do, but there's people who do it. There's people who rock it. And then a really good one is called a sprouted grain bread. Yep. And Ezekiel.
That's true.
The company's called Ezekiel. And they use breads. You have to keep the bread in your freezer because literally it goes bad within 3 days because it has no preservatives. They haven't ruined the grains, and it's a very hearty bread. So you keep it in your freezer, and what you do is I toast it.
Yeah, it's a hard bread.
Use it. It's a hard bread. You can find some sprouted breads in, like she said, if you went to a health food store and you would see one that says certified organic. But again, as you start buying in stores, you move away from its original form. So you want to find something that, and don't let packages fool you when it says, made with natural ingredients or made with organic ingredients or whole grain. But you turn over the package and there's all these big words. And don't get anything that says enriched or bleached or fortified or refined, because refined means we took it off the field and we bleached the heck out of it.
Right. Yeah. And, it's irritating. It really is.
Yeah,
I forgot what it was I was buying, but I bought something, I brought it home, and I looked on the label because, I look definitely for the sugars and I want to make sure I look at the carbohydrates and all that. And one of the things that I didn't notice when I got home after I looked at the grams of sugar or whatever it was, and then I went ahead and I read the ingredients when I got home and I saw there was corn syrup in it. I'm like, man, that so irritated me. It was like, and even water, right? I mean, Randall and I went and Randall bought some water one day from Food Lion, I guess it was. And, it was a sparkling water, which I love sparkling water. But it had zero sugar and all this other stuff. And then I opened it up and took a sip and it tasted super sweet. And I was, what the heck is in this? This tastes like crap, I was just like, yeah. And it was like corn syrup or something. And so he had literally bought like five bottles of this or whatever. And I actually took it back to the store. I was like, I ain't drinking this stuff. Because when you were talking earlier about chemicals and how our food is, I remember way back about 23, I guess it's been about 23 years ago now. I actually saw a chiropractor, and he was the guy that helped me because I was addicted to Diet Coke, because Diet Coke rocked, man. I was like, oh, it was when the big gulps came out, the super big gulp where you could drink like 15 cans of Diet Coke in one big cup, or whatever it was. And I drank that stuff, and it was killing me. I mean, literally, it was like, and long story short, I went to a chiropractor. He recommended Hansen's All Natural Soda, which you could get in California. I don't know if you can get it in Tennessee or whatever, but he told me I was craving the carbonation and to give up, to do that. But on my own, I decided that I would stop drinking soda.
Right.
And Randall can testify. I made a New Year's resolution that had to be about 23 years ago now because it's been a long time. And right before I left California 4 years ago, I went through this drive-through, and I always order a black tea. I don't like sweet tea. It's horrible. Sweet tea is blah, blah. You come to Tennessee, that's what they give you. It's like 3/4 of a cup full of sugar and then a little bit of tea. It's like the worst thing that has ever been invented in my mind. But anyway, so I ordered a black tea at this Del Taco drive-thru, and that's all I got was just the black tea. I took a sip, and it was Diet Coke. Now, imagine I had not tasted that stuff in at least 20 years at that point. And I literally had a vomit reaction. Literally, I almost threw up right there in my car. I spit it out, said a bad word, honestly. But what it tasted like was chemicals. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is the American world. The world is addicted to this chemical cocktail, which is killing them. And so I don't,
exactly.
But see, it's the same thing with food. And like you've taught me, and I already, I kind of knew this anyway, but when you begin to eat different, your taste buds taste things different, and you begin to crave that instead of, the fake stuff. Ugh.
Yes. Yeah. You have to change. One thing we do with the Kind Gut is we change the palate, which is what you're saying.
Yeah.
The blood, because these chemicals are floating around in the blood, and it becomes addicting, just like drugs, like street drugs. Like you have chemicals. The worst thing is the artificial sweeteners, which is in the diet soda. That actually has an addictive nature, just like street drugs. So it's in your blood. Your blood needs it, right? You have sugar in your blood. That's bad. It needs it. So you got to change the palate, the blood, and the brain, because it changes and they've proven this. You will alter the chemistry of your brain when you eat bad foods. But soda, what you're saying, the diet soda is literally addicting. It's set up purposely for you to crave more and buy more of it. It's a brilliant marketing, food science, food chemist creation, but it's evil.
Yeah, it is evil. It is evil.
It's evil.
I say it's evil.
Because they're doing it knowing it. They know. Yeah. They're well aware of what they're doing. Just like cigarette companies, they know.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, when people ask me what I drink, I always say, well, I drink water. I will have some coffee in the morning because I just like coffee. And once in a while, I'll have some black tea. But the sugar, and I know this is the thing, the sugar is also addictive too. And it's irritating because, you're talking about how your brain is altered and stuff. I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist by training, so I understand all that stuff. But we were never taught in grad school all about the whole nutrition aspect. Ever since I was doing what you told me to, at Christmas time though, my brother gave me these cookies that were chocolate covered cookies. They were like a whole box. It wasn't just like one little thing. It was like this. And me and Randall ate them. And I finally told Randall, I said, you need to put this high so I can't reach it because I'm short, man. Because I couldn't stop eating them. I was having a hard time because they were so good. But I tell you what, the week, for almost a whole week afterwards, I felt like crap. I was so depressed and I was mad. I was like, and I connected it. I totally connected it though. I mean, I was like, man, I don't want to get depressed and pissed off again. So I'm not going to eat any more of that stuff. But it really is true. I mean, it is. And I know we only got about 3 minutes, right? Something like that. So we'll have to wind up.
But I want to say one thing because you keep bringing it up and I think it's funny, but it's not funny, but it's brilliant. So when you take the 7-day how to eat healthy quick start, or you're in my food school, there's literally a lesson on water.
Right. And
when I tell people they're that I'm not taking that. Why would I pay money? Or why would I sign up for something for free? It doesn't even matter about the money, but why would I do that? I don't want to learn about water. There's so much misconception out there. Just the fact that you went to the store and you were buying water and they threw sugar in there and you couldn't find it, you couldn't figure that out. That's how confusing drinks are. Mm-hmm. So I have a lesson in the 7-day how to eat healthy quick start and in the My Food School that's about drinks. And we start off with water and we go over, your iced tea, like you said, we go over soda. We go over the big one I go over is, of course, I have a huge, a very popular blog post that has gotten picked up by a lot of places called your sports drinks. What's in your sports drinks? Go read that one. You just be ready to be like, oh. Yeah.
Do you want
sports drink is the furthest thing from a drink.
Do you want to stay on Periscope a couple extra minutes because we can do that?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, everybody, on Blog Talk, we're going to cut this off because that's what we do at the end of the hour. Don't forget, you can go to myfoodschool.com, go to drlisasulsenti.com. It's actually right
60
there
seconds.
in our show description. I put a link into it in the Blog Talk player description, so all you got to do is click that. You guys can get there. And check it out because, not only, I mean, at the very least, sign up for her email because you get a lot of really good info there. And final word?
Me?
Yep.
Or Randall?
No, you.
I just want to thank you guys for having me on because it's one of my favorite places to be. And just remember when you guys are eating to think about God. I mean, that's the greatest quote that you put there because keep it as close to how he made it for you.
Yep. That's the goal.
That's
All
the
right,
goal.
everybody. Remember, be bold, stand up, go with God, and Genesis 1:29. Read that again. We'll see you later.
10 seconds.
Okay. Wait
Wait for it. What are we waiting for?
We're waiting for the
Thank
thing.
you for using Blog Talk
That right there.
Radio. Goodbye.
Okay.
I love her accent.
I know. Don't you? It's British, or I guess it's
No.
British. Is it English? I don't know. Anyway.
It sounds British, but who knows?
Okay, so we'll stay on a couple more minutes if you guys have some questions for Lisa. Don't forget, everybody, this is still being recorded, and this will be put up on YouTube for everybody's viewing pleasure and all that. If I don't see any questions, then we will just go ahead and end the show, just so you know. So, and it looks like quite a few people have actually dropped out. So Steve, Mia, David, and Melanie, I see you guys are still in there. So if you guys have any more questions, this would be a good time to ask. And if you want to share any concluding thoughts. Yeah, actually, let me ask you something. What do you think of Perrier water? I mean, I got like the sparkling water, like with grapefruit in it. I didn't see any sugar on the label. I didn't see any corn syrup or anything either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use that one, but just read the label. Make sure that it doesn't say natural flavoring either, because that's a big word that means chemicals.
All right, I might
but
have to
usually that water's pretty clean. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's one that is, I think if it's just plain flavored, it's fine.
Okay. All right, Bareface, do you have any questions? Actually, yeah, do you?
No, go ahead.
Okay, you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Well, your power drink. Okay. Randall tends to be really a tired person because he doesn't get a lot of sleep. That's part of it right there. But he drinks. He doesn't drink Red Bull, which is good.
Yeah.
But he found this other stuff called Highball water.
Yeah, Highball energy water, which is basically carbonated water and then certified organic, just fruit juice, I guess it said. And they have Highball drinks that have cane sugar in them, certified organic cane sugar. But most like the water, the unsweetened water, which is just the water and the fruit juice. But for the energy part of it, there's guarana seed extract and other natural sources of caffeine, and then ginseng. And I think that's it. But
I'd have to look at the label. I have heard, I've seen it. I just didn't research the label very well. Trying to look it up for you. Ingredients: carbonated purified water. See, the natural flavoring is always something that's synthetic, so you got to watch that. Caffeine, extract, ginseng. The vitamins are probably fortified because they're not selling it from whole food sources. So it's definitely something that would be better than the other ones that are out there. You know, like the Red Bull, and then what's that other one? That real quick.
there's like Rockstar. There's
Oh yeah, this would be a better. But what bothers me about this is if you feel like you need this, if any of my patients that are hooked on stuff with caffeine in it, and they need this pick me up, then you might have like an adrenal problem. You might have that you're dragging for other reasons. The way your body's working. So, you might be low in B vitamins, for example. And if we fix the B deficiency, you might not need that. Is my point.
So Steve is smiling. He says, "Are all products with the natural flavorings artificial?"
So go to my blog, go to my website, drlisasulsenti.com, and look up sports drink. Put it in a search bar. And I explain natural flavoring there in way more depth than I can on Periscope. But basically, natural flavoring, all it means it has to come from a natural source, but the source can be not so healthy. Like one of them is anal sacs from beavers. It's pretty gross, right? And they can use...
Okay, wait, say that again.
Yeah, anal sacs from the beaver. They actually use anal sacs
Okay,
as flavoring.
anal sacs. S-A-C-K-S.
Well, it's S-A-C-S, yeah.
Okay, because that's
Anal
not what it.
sacs.
That's not that's not what it sounded like.
Anal sacs. It's what the dogs have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's natural because it's an animal, right? But it's disgusting. And also natural flavoring can be coming from MSG. It can be coming from yeast. There's a lot of, so read that because I go into it. And if you even want more information, I have links there to, like, Food Babe does a really big article on natural flavoring and the whole beaver thing.
Okay, so David wants to know what's the difference, or the stevia versus agave.
So stevia is they say, I don't like the taste of it.
I don't either.
But it's supposed to be one of the most safest. Like, this is the sugars I use. I use raw honey. It has a ton of B vitamins. And I use organic or as close, 100% maple syrup. Like we have a local guy who does honey and syrup, so you can get it from there too. That's the best source. They both have a ton of vitamin and minerals in them. Stevia is supposed to be the next best one, which is actually like, the plant looks a little bit like a basil plant or a mint leaf. So it's an herb that when you eat it, your brain thinks it tastes sugar. Right? I think it tastes more a little bit like NutraSweet.
It sounds like it tastes to me. It tastes like NutraSweet or some fake thing. I don't like it. That's why I stopped putting it in my coffee, because I don't like it. But
yeah, and those are the three things that I pretty much recommend.
So
the other ones, agave is supposed to be popular because it doesn't react as much as insulin reacting as much as it would with honey or something like that. But a lot of them are like some kind of process. So I try to stick to, again, as close as to the natural beehive as I can. And when it comes to insulin, I always include a healthy protein with a healthy carb. So I wouldn't just be eating a teaspoon of honey. I would make sure that the meal is well balanced where your insulin wouldn't spike. So insulin's not a problem with me because I have my patients eat the right way.
Right. One of the things that she has us do is take oats with peanut butter, honey, and chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah, the protein balls.
Yeah, they're really good. I haven't actually had any in a long time. I need to make them.
I've been craving them.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to make them.
So,
thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, and thank you for being part of our show. We're going to go ahead and end it here. My phone is in the low, almost die mode, so I'm not going to be able to read any more questions because my phone's about ready to die on me. So, those of you who appreciate Lisa, Lisa's here on Periscope. I don't know if you're going to actually get back into scoping.
I am.
But
I am. I'm going to.
Go ahead and put up your emojis or whatever if you can, and let people follow you if they haven't already. They probably already have. Most of the people here probably already know you.
Oh, I wasn't even in there. See?
Oh.
I got to get, oh, look at me. There I am.
There you are. It's a miracle. You're here. You're blue.
There's a delay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, but yeah, if you want to follow Lisa, that's where she is. She just put hi. Just follow her, and when she scopes, you'll get notified if you don't block the notification. But at the very, and you do webinars too. Are you still doing webinars? Because
yes, yeah. I do free webinars, and I focus on a topic that I try to teach people for free. What they want to learn, and sometimes we pitch a product too. That if somebody wants to dig deeper into something. So if you'll get notified if you're on my newsletter, I call that the hub. Mm-hmm. That is where I let you know everything that's going on. And I do my best to shout out on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. But, sometimes people miss it because you might not see me on it. There's so much stuff goes through your feed, you might miss it.
Right. Yes. David said it sounded like anal sex.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Is that why you said sax?
That's why, I want to make sure. That
anal sax.
That people.
It does. Now, sax is my. Do I have a
an accent?
An accent? because I just heard it kind of when I said sax.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's saying I didn't have to repeat that, but that's... Well, anyway. So, on that happy note...
The latter might be better than the former.
I'll just...
We're on the wrong show for this.
I will... I'm pretty sure most people on YouTube aren't going to watch till the end. But anyway, if you did, then, you know,
Missed it.
then you can laugh, right? Because when you said animals have that... I'm sorry.
E for anal sex.
Dogs.
That's not
I know, but when you said dogs have that, that's what I thought. I thought, oh my gosh.
You know how I know that? Because my dog's anal sac it explodes a lot. It's disgusting. What is it called? Rupture, yeah.
Yeah, okay, we're still recording.
It's like to drag her butt on the mulch or the stones. I'm like, what are you doing? Haven't you learned?
Okay. All right, everybody.
We're never going to forget natural flavoring. You'll never forget natural flavoring.
That's for sure.
There you go, right there. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow, I have a guest. And by the way, I should tell you all of our guests for the next couple of weeks are actually listed over there at BibleNewsRadio.com. Don't forget to go over there. We have some pretty big names coming up pretty soon. So you guys will be impressed, hopefully. Anyway, go over there. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow.